Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is R.S. Raghu bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring to you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. India issues notice to Pakistan for modification of Indus Waters Treaty. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with students, teachers and parents in the 6th edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha program. Advises students to observe digital fasting once a week to minimize distractions. RBI Governor Shaktikant Das says that India's economy continues to remain resilient despite hostile and uncertain international environment. SCO Film Festival 2023 begins in Mumbai. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur says government's aim is to make India a content and post-production hub. In the Australian Open tennis, Novak Djokovic to take on Stefanos Tsitsipas in men's singles title clash on Sunday. And in women's under-19 T20 Cricket World Cup, India to clash with England in final at Potchefstroom in South Africa on Sunday. India has issued a notice to Pakistan for modification of the Indus Waters Treaty. According to sources, the notice was conveyed on the 25th of this month through respective commissioners for Indus Waters. India has called on Pakistan to enter into intergovernmental negotiations within 90 days to rectify the material breach of the treaty. The sources said Pakistan's actions have adversely impinged on the provisions of the treaty and their implementation. This forced India to issue an appropriate notice to Pakistan for modification of the treaty. Despite repeated efforts by India to find a mutually agreeable way forward, Pakistan refused the dispute settlement mechanism during the 5 meetings of the Permanent Indus Commission from 2017 to 2022. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has advised students to observe digital fasting once a week to minimize distractions. Interacting with students, parents and teachers during the 6th edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha program in New Delhi on Friday, he expressed concern over the use of gadgets, saying that people in India spend an average of 6 hours on screen.
कभी कभी आप अपने से भी ज्यादा गैजेट्स को ज्यादा स्मार्ट मान लेते हैं और गलती वहीं से शुरू हो जाती है। आप विश्वास करिए, परमात्मा ने आपको बहुत शक्ति दी है। आप स्मार्ट हैं, गैजेट आपसे स्मार्ट नहीं हो सकता है। आपकी जितनी स्मार्टनेस ज्यादा होगी, उतना गैजेट का सही उपयोग आप कर पाएंगे। वो एक इंस्ट्रूमेंट है जो आपकी गति में नई तेजी लाता है।
Modi said no technology zone must be created at home. The Prime Minister also asked the students to learn multiple languages. He said learning a new language opens door for a student to understand a centuries-old culture, civilization and experiences. The Prime Minister also asked the teachers to develop a strong bond with students. He said, if a student asks questions, it means he or she is curious, and teachers should always try to promote their curiosity. Speaking on the occasion, Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan said, Pariksha Pe Charcha has become a mass movement. He said, national education policy and exam warriors are preparing students for the 21st century. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the annual NCC rally at the Cariappa Parade Ground in Delhi on Saturday at around 5:45 p.m. This year, NCC is celebrating 75th year of its inception. During the event, Prime Minister will release a special day cover and a commemorative specially minted coin of 75 rupees denomination commemorating 75 successful years of NCC. The rally will be held as a hybrid day and night event and will also include a cultural program on the theme Ek Bharat, Shreshth Bharat. In the true Indian spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, 196 officers and cadets from 19 foreign countries have been invited to be a part of the rally. RBI Governor Shaktikant Das has said that despite a hostile and uncertain international environment, India's economy continues to remain resilient, drawing strength from its macroeconomic fundamentals. Addressing the 22nd Fixed Income Money Market and Derivatives Association FIMMDA and Primary Dealers Association of India PDAI annual conference in Dubai on Friday, Mr. Das said India's financial system remains robust and stable with bank credit growing in double digits. Admitting that inflation has remained elevated, the RBI governor, however, added that there has been a welcome softening during November and December 2022. Talking about the current account deficit, Mr. Das said it is eminently manageable, adding that the average CAD to GDP ratio stood at 3.3% during the first half of FY23. The RBI governor said net FDI flows remain strong and foreign portfolio flows have resumed since July 2022. He informed that the size of forex reserves is comfortable, while the country's external debt ratios are low by international standards. Mr. Das added that liquidity in the government securities and the overnight money markets have grown. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar called on Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in New Delhi on Thursday. The Vice President highlighted that the Egypt's President's visit had touched the hearts of Indians and left a deep impact. Sharing his picture with Egypt's President, the Vice President said in his message, both leaders agreed that the momentous visit and bonhomie between leaders would take the relationship to a higher level. And now in today's Hotspot section, we bring you a news commentary on India's Republic Stands Tall.
India celebrated her 74th Republic Day on the 26th of January 2023. The grand function was held at the Kartavya Path, New Delhi. India is a democratic republic. India adopted the republican form of government on the 26th of January 1950. In the 7 decades-long journey, India has faced many adversities, natural calamities and externally aided terrorism. However, it has emerged victorious in the high table of the world due to her commitment to democratic values and her traditional ethos. The 74th Republic Day parade and pageantry was a grand spectacle of India's achievements in various spheres. The Grand Parade was witnessed by the President of India, Ms. Draupadi Murmu, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and the chief guest of this year's Republic Day function, Mr. Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the President of Egypt. Central ministers, foreign envoys, government officials, members of the judiciary and parliament, as also common people, including the Shram Yogis, the labourers who worked in the revamping of the Kartavya Path, vendors, small business persons and rickshaw pullers, were the special guests on the occasion. From her military might to the eclectic display of India's myriad culture, the nation and world at large sees India as a nation that is deeply embedded to her traditional roots, yet it has embraced modern scientific temperament, research, and is excelling in next-gen science. India has become the world's 5th largest economy. Many analysts believe that India will be a $10 trillion economy by the end of the current decade. Under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India has emerged as a leader in the ease of doing business, an innovation and startups hub, an infrastructure superpower, and a leader in space science. Today, India is a force to reckon with in digital technology, software, artificial intelligence, AI, and Internet of Things, IoT. India's fight against the COVID-19 pandemic during the last 3 years has been seen by all. India emerged stronger. After 3 waves of the pandemic, India-made vaccines have earned the pride of place in the world. More than 2.2 billion doses have been administered. India has supplied millions of vaccine doses to many countries, most of them free. India truly believes that the world is one family. India's growth in agriculture, manufacturing, trade and industry have been remarkable. The government's slew of reforms have helped the business community. India has also emerged as the largest recipient of foreign direct investment. India's middle class is one of the largest in the world, and many countries view India as a remarkable market. India since times immemorial has never believed in expansionism and has always been a peace-loving country. However, given the geostrategic location of the subcontinent, India has the second largest armed forces in the world. The armed forces of India, with their mean machines, safeguard our borders from external aggression. India has always sought peace and coexistence. India's relations with her neighbours are based on the neighbourhood first policy. India's Act East policy has strengthened ties with countries like Japan, South Korea, Singapore, Indonesia and others. Our strategic partnerships with countries like the US, Russia, Britain, France, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Israel and Iran have paid dividends bilaterally as well as in multilateral forums. Today, India is on the high table of G20, Quad, BRICS, SCO to name a few. India has assumed the presidency of G20 and will host the G20 summit this year. India's G20 presidency motto, One Earth, One Family, One Future, reaffirms India's abiding faith in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is a family. India has always called for stringent action against international terrorism and called for reforms of multilateral organizations like the UN. India has been calling for a comprehensive convention on international terrorism. This is the need of the hour to combat the global menace of terrorism. The reform of multilateral institutions should reflect the realities of time and not confine to the old world systems. The Indian Republic enjoys the best demographic dividend. The youth of India are innovative and aspirational. They have shown their grit and determination in meeting challenges and emerging victorious. This is best exemplified by the performance of Indian sportspersons. They have brought laurels to the country. As the sun came down on the famed Kartavya Path on India's 74th Republic Day, 1.4 billion Indians recommitted themselves to take India to newer heights and achieve new milestones. As Prime Minister Modi says, when 1.4 billion Indians take a step, the world watches in awe. In the years to come, India will always be the beacon of light for the world, yet remain committed for the welfare of her people and the well-being of the global community.
The G20 Startup 20 Engagement Group's first inception meeting will begin in Hyderabad on Saturday. Delegates from G20 nations and 9 special invitees from observer countries, representatives from multilateral organizations besides the Indian startup ecosystem will be attending the meeting. The two-day meeting is expected to deliberate on developing policy recommendations on entrepreneurship and innovation priorities of G20 countries during coming years. The meeting is also expected to create a global narrative for supporting startups and fostering synergies between startups, corporates, investors, innovation agencies, and other key ecosystem stakeholders. The inaugural edition of the bilateral air exercise Veer Guardian 2023 between the Indian Air Force and Japan Air Self-Defense Force concluded in Japan on Thursday. In a statement, the IAF said Japan Air Self-Defense Force participated in the exercise with its F-2 and F-15 aircraft, while the IAF contingent participated with the Su-30 MKI aircraft. The IAF fighter contingent was complemented by one IL-78 flight refueling aircraft and 2 C-17 Globemaster strategic airlift transport aircraft. The IAF said during the joint training spanning 16 days, the two air forces engaged in complex and comprehensive aerial maneuvers in multiple simulated operational scenarios. Indian Air Force and Japan Air Self-Defense Force engaged in air combat maneuvering, interception and air defense missions, both in visual and beyond visual range settings. This is All India Radio giving you the world news. The SCO Film Festival 2023 opened in a glittering ceremony in Mumbai on Friday evening. India's Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur and Union Minister of State for External Affairs and Culture Meenakshi Lekhi lighted the traditional lamp to open the film festival. Renowned actress Hema Malini, actors Akshay Kumar, Tiger Shroff, Poonam Dhillon, Isha Gupta and other film personalities were present in the opening ceremony. Addressing the August gathering, Mr. Thakur said the government aims to make India a content and post-production hub. He said the government has launched incentive schemes to enable shooting of foreign films in India and for co-production of audio-visual content.
India announced 2 major schemes to encourage filmmakers and content creators to come and shoot in India. I welcome you to explore the incentive scheme for the audio-visual co-production and the incentive scheme for shooting of foreign films in India. These can truly unleash the potential in the SCO region. Today, I say with confidence that we are geared up to make India the world's content and post-production hub fueled by the passion and talent of our brilliant filmmaking minds. It is also heartening for us that Indian cinema has been extremely popular among the Central Asian countries.
Mr. Thakur said India has the largest community of creative minds, tech talent and skilled manpower, cost efficiency and world-class post-production facilities, and hence the government is keen to develop the country as the world's choice to shoot its content and also for post-production of films. Stating that the SCO region represents 40% of the world population and 30% of global GDP, Mr. Thakur said this festival provides an incredible opportunity to forge cinematic partnership between the countries of this region. Mr. Thakur said India aims to hold exchange of filmmaking programs as cinema is a more powerful medium to connect with the masses. Stating that it is the first time the SCO Film Festival is being held in India, Mr. Thakur said the festival has recorded its largest ever participation with a lineup of 58 movies from 14 countries. The concept and theme of the festival is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, stating that 2023 is a special year as India holds the G20 presidency along with the chairmanship of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Mr. Thakur said the theme augurs well with the G20 theme of One Earth, One Family, One Future. The minister said it is time to collaborate to showcase the rich civilization, culture and cooperation among the SCO region to the world. Also speaking on the occasion, Union Minister of State for External Affairs and Culture, Meenakshi Lekhi, expressed hope that the festival and the various activities will offer a platform to India's extended neighborhood to collaborate and form joint ventures in this sector. She further prayed that the festival brings closer the hearts in this region so that the politics in the region can bring greater peace. The opening ceremony was marked by the felicitation of 7 jury members, including filmmaker Rahul Ravel from India, who is also the chairperson, were felicitated on the occasion. A large number of delegates from SCO member and guest countries were also present for the ceremony. Veteran director Priyadarshan's Tamil film Appata, which also marks the 700th film of lead actress Urvashi, was the opening film of the festival. A total of 58 films from member countries, including 14 from the competition section, will be showcased at the festival. The screenings will take place at Films Division Complex at Pedar Road and NFDC Theatre at Worli. The festival will run till 31st January with the award ceremony scheduled on that day. The Marathi film Godavari, directed by Nikhil Mahajan, and Gujarati film The Last Film Show, directed by Pan Nalin, have been nominated for the competition section. The non-competitive sections will feature Indian films like Sardar Udham, RRR, Gangubai Kathiawadi, Tulsidas Jr., a short film Jugalbandi, and 5 restored classics including Shatranj Ke Khiladi. For better understanding, all films will have English subtitles. A US military operation has killed a senior ISIS leader and 10 members of the terror group in northern Somalia. According to US officials, a key regional leader of the Islamic State group, Bilal al-Sudani, was killed during a gunfight after US troops descended on a mountainous cave complex in northern Somalia. Around 10 of Sudani's Islamic State associates at the scene were also killed. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin in a statement said that on orders from the President, the U.S. military conducted an assault operation in the northern Somalia that resulted in the death of a number of ISIS members, including Bilal al-Sudani. The U.S. President authorized the strike earlier this week after consulting with top defense, intelligence and security officials. According to media reports, from his mountain base in northern Somalia, Sudani provided and coordinated funding for IS branches not only in Africa but also Islamic State Khorasan, the arm operating in Afghanistan. In Thailand, the officials have been advised people to work from home and wear face masks due to air pollution that has worsened to unhealthy levels in the capital city Bangkok. The officials also urged people to use public transport rather than private cars for commuting. The officials also said the authorities would seek to reduce sources of pollution such as outdoor burning and construction activities. According to media reports, the number of patients experiencing pollution-related health problems more than doubled to nearly 213,000 this week from about 96,000 last week. Most were experiencing respiratory tract problems as well as symptoms such as dermatitis or eye inflammation. Agricultural burning and forest fires are a major cause of air pollution in Thailand between December and April, especially in the northwest. Pollution from these fires also affects Bangkok, which already struggles with bad air due to its factories, construction and traffic. Sri Lanka President Ranil Wickremesinghe has said that he will fully implement the 13th Amendment to the Constitution aimed at giving more autonomy to provinces. The amendment was incorporated in 1987 and has not been fully implemented, especially in terms of police and land powers. A statement from the President's media division after the all-party meeting said that he was not for a federal solution but favoured power sharing. He further said that the 13th Amendment is being implemented as per Supreme Court's directions, and if it is not implemented, Parliament should abolish the amendment. The President stressed that he was not ready to divide the country at all and would not betray the Sinhalese nation as well. Mr. Wickremesinghe added that the implementation of the amendment will require setting up of Land Commission and Provincial Police Commissions. He added that the Land Commission needs to be established immediately and a draft bill in that regard could be moved by March. The President also expressed his plan to make a statement to Parliament on the 8th of February. Mr. Wickremesinghe called all parties to solve political and economic issues step by step in a manner that could be accepted by all. Ex-Presidents Mahinda Rajapaksa, Maithripala Sirisena, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardene, representatives from Tamil and Muslim parties were present in the meeting. Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has reiterated the government's resolve to hold the next general elections of the country in a free and fair manner. She told the outgoing Swiss ambassador Nathalie Jouad, who called on her at the Parliament House office on Thursday, that the government is making all the necessary preparations to conduct free and fair elections in the country. Highlighting the independence of the Election Commission, Sheikh Hasina told Ambassador Jouad that the government formed a neutral election commission through a search committee. She reassured that the foreign observers will come to oversee the elections and they will do their job freely. At least 8 people have died after a Hong Kong-flagged cargo vessel sank off Japan on Thursday. The Japan Coast Guard said that the Hong Kong-registered 6,551-ton Jintian carried 22 crew members, including 14 Chinese and 8 Burmese, sank in the East China Sea off the coast of southwestern Nagasaki province. According to Japanese public broadcaster NHK, South Korean and Japanese coast guards and local fishermen rescued 13 crew members. The vessel was sailing towards South Korea's southwestern port of Incheon from Malaysia, carrying wood. A search and rescue operation is still going on for the missing crew. And now a report from the business world.
Sensex declined by 874 points to finish at 59,330. Nifty 50 also fell by 287 points to settle at 17,604. Among global stock markets, Asian shares ended with gains. China's Shanghai Composite Index rose by 0.75%. South Korea's Kospi added 0.6%. Singapore Straits Times and Hong Kong's Hang Seng ended 0.5% up. Japan's Nikkei 225 ended almost flat. European shares were down in intraday trade. Oil prices rose for a second session, supported by stronger than expected U.S. economic growth, strong middle distillate refining margins, and hopes of a rapid recovery in Chinese demand. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading at $88.84 per barrel. Back home at the foreign exchange market, the rupee strengthened by 6 paise against the US dollar to close at 81 rupees and 52 paise against the US dollar. At the multi-commodity exchange, gold futures of February was trading at 56,821 rupees per 10 grams. Silver futures for March was trading at 68,720 rupees per kilogram when reports last came in. Arjun Chaudhary for World News, All India Radio.
And now moving on to sports. In the Australian Open tennis, 4th seed Novak Djokovic will take on 3rd seed Stefanos Tsitsipas in the men's singles title clash on Sunday. Djokovic of Serbia defeated unseeded American player Tommy Paul in the last four encounters 7-5, 6-1, 6-2 on Friday. Djokovic seeks a record extending 10th Australian Open and a 22nd Grand Slam crown. In the second semi-final, third seed Tsitsipas registered victory over 18th seed Karen Khachanov 7-6, 6-4, 6-7, 6-3. In the women's singles, 22nd seed Elena Rybakina will face 5th seed Aryna Sabalenka in the summit clash on Saturday. Kazakhstan player Rybakina edged past two-time champion Victoria Azarenka 7-6, 6-3, while Sabalenka ended the dream run of unseeded Polish player Magda Linette 7-6, 6-2 in the semi-finals. Brazilian duo of Luisa Stefani and Rafael Matos won the mixed doubles title on Friday. They defeated Indian pair of Sania Mirza and Rohan Bopanna 7-6, 6-2 on Rod Laver Arena at Melbourne. In Women's Under-19 T20 Cricket World Cup, India will clash with England in the final at Potchefstroom in South Africa on Sunday. India team advanced to the final, beating New Zealand by 8 wickets in the semi-final at the same venue Friday evening. After restricting New Zealand to 107 for 9 in 20 overs, India achieved the target of 108 runs in just 14.2 overs after losing 2 wickets. Shweta Sehrawat scored unbeaten 61 of 45 balls. England defeated Australia by 3 runs in the second semi-final, chasing the target of 100 runs set by England women. Australia were all out for 96 runs in 18.4 overs. Earlier, England were all out for 99 in 19.5 overs after electing to bat first. In men's cricket, New Zealand defeated India by 21 runs in the first T20 International of the 3-match series at JSC International Stadium Complex in Ranchi. After setting a victory target of 177 runs, New Zealand restricted India to 155 for 9 in 20 overs. New Zealand had scored 176 for 6 wickets in 20 overs. For visitors, Daryl Mitchell was the highest scorer, who was not out at 59 of 30 balls. Earlier, India won the toss and opted to field. Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The Globe and Mail reports Canadian miners facing big tax hikes as mineral-rich countries look to cash in commodities boom. The Washington Post writes Arizona Republicans exempt lawmakers from the state's open records law. The Financial Times reports Adani sell-off hits $50 billion after short seller targets group. South China Morning Post says Chinese lending dips to new low in the Pacific Islands. The Japan Times writes Japan's foreign worker population hits a record 1.82 million despite COVID impact. Le Monde reports Israel and Gaza militants exchange missiles following deadly raid in the West Bank. Straits Times says IMF weighs Ukraine aid package worth up to $20 billion. And now a quick look at the headlines once again. India issues notice to Pakistan for modification of Indus Waters Treaty. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with students, teachers and parents in the 6th edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha program, advises students to observe digital fasting once a week to minimize distractions. RBI Governor Shaktikant Das says that India's economy continues to remain resilient despite hostile and uncertain international environment. SCO Film Festival 2023 begins in Mumbai. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur says government's aim is to make India a content and post-production hub. In the Australian Open tennis, Novak Djokovic to take on Stefanos Tsitsipas in men's single title clash on Sunday, and in women's Under-19 T20 Cricket World Cup, India to clash with England in final at Potchefstroom in South Africa on Sunday. And now, before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan Vaishnav Jan by artists from Japan. And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.